Hi everyone. I just wanted to take a couple minutes and explain a little bit of the package that you're receiving today. Um, we've approached, after meeting with you guys and your staff, having a half a day to be able to extract the process that you guys are going through when it comes to the pig cooker, and then being able to look at maybe some alternatives as to maybe limit, uh, limit the liability, I guess, on Pembina on some of the process. Um, and because when we felt after looking at the pig cooker and that process that there's, is definitely a better way of doing it. Whether you guys want to go down that path or not, that's totally up to you guys. But we wanted to make sure that we gave you an option and explained how we felt it was maybe something for you to consider. So right off the bat, I'm just going to give you guys an idea. We did a 3D model of the area just to kind of get the concept of well, how should I say? Picture's worth 1,000 words, and if we can walk through this thing and see some of the elements that we've created just based on the fact that we are trying to at least open up your minds to some of the considerations of there is some real risk within the pig cooker and that process. So without further ado, I'm just going to kind of talk about what's going on around us and that kind of thing. So right over my shoulder here, you're going to see there's an exclamation point. You're going to see those throughout the model. Those are just areas of concern that we have identified to kind of, make you think a little bit. When there's one on the tailgate here of the truck, what's the big deal? When guys are unloading, 9 chances out of 10, there's some body twisting happening, there's some carrying of the pails, there's some carrying of some pigs that might be in the upper range of size. So there is some risk around the physical side and demand on the body in this area. That is, when you look at it, that is not just a green puddle sitting there. That's actually just a breakaway of a membrane that would be underneath the surface. Something else we talked about was large spills and trying to basically keep the spill from penetrating into larger depths, if you want to say, in your yard or anything like that. So the idea was just give you a little cutaway, just to kind of give you a poignant idea that underneath there is a geomembrane that you guys could install, and that would give you the opportunity to be able to mitigate any risk of runoff or anything like that with any contaminated soil. Now, what we try to, like I said, reinvent the pig cooker process. So I'm just going to kind of scan around here inside my 3D model for you. So we basically, we've got your truck that's going to be hauling away your waste. We've got your waste bin for your wax. We've got your pig cooker. We gave you a pig cooker logo and emblem up here in the top, just to identify everything. We've got your crane, as per discussions what to use. We have your Varsol tank. We have a place to lay down any pails coming in from the field. We have your shut off and basically your control box for the pig cooker right up front there. And we have the procedure on the wall. There's also a large light right above where the hand is on the wall. Basically right beside the gentleman right here, there's a big yellow light. So one of the things we did talk about was, hey, there has to be something that's good visual indicator that the heaters are still on, even though that you guys had said you were going to set them to timers. If the timers failed and it continuously kept the heat up, that I would like to see that the amber light not go out until that time. So we've given you some photographs over here in the back just to kind of paint the picture of what we were asked and what we were given for some documentation. And so I'm just going to talk about the crane and the pig cooker real quick. So basically what we've identified, especially with the pig cooker, We're talking about something that is boiling, hot water, steam with benzenes and a number of other nasty things included in that steam. We have workers walking around that. It's a busy area in a sense. The crane going in, picking up loads, and lifting out the baskets, putting them on the ground. I suggest if you move forward with building pig cookers, everyone should have two. That way there you guys can have one that's loaded, one that's basically being loaded, or one that's in the tank being cooked. Now, in terms of the whole wax mixture and the cool down, and then you're basically transferring it over to the wax bin, I know that is part of something that is just hauled away and it's dealt with. And there was never really a definitive answer of how it was disposed of or where it goes after the process. So I want to talk a little bit about how that is a missed opportunity, I believe, for Pembina to look after. Also coming along with the pig cooker is maintenance requirements. This whole process is actually outside and open to air. So, we're looking at the fact that somebody's having to dress differently. We're talking about different times of the year. There's a lot going on in this little cell. The other thing with the crane. Now the crane, couple things. One is OH&S code requires that you guys have people that are trained and competent. Well, that requires time, effort, and obviously that turns into money. So is there another way that it can be done and not have to worry about the certification, more or less, on the crane? Do you have to go to full certification on it? You have to go to manufacturer's requirements, have an understanding of how to operate it, how to maintain it, and there has to be some check and level to the competency of the person that is operating it. So at the end of the day, it does have to be inspected on a daily basis or before use. So another thing that you'll see that comes in your packages, we didn't want to fill it up with what we had for safety material, knowing that we could have put in a lot of the control measures, but we left that to you guys, knowing that Pembina has a very good safety program, and that you could look at those and basically apply what you have. If you happen to be needing anything, just give us a call, and we might be able to have it in place for you. So, against the crane, training, certification, maintenance has to be done. There is no ways around that whatsoever. And that is part of code, and it has its own life, if you want to say, in relation to that. The mixture that's coming off of the pig cooker really is, at the end of the day, not probably the best product for people to be breathing, not the best product for people to be exposed to, period, on their skin, breathing it in their lungs. Even though everybody at the meeting was saying, well, nobody really kind of goes in there, and nobody really kind of, goes around the process when it's happening. Okay, I'll believe what you got to say, but the hazard is still there. We're not eliminating anything in that sense. So the use of Varsol, being out in open air, spraying on Varsol, I'm sure it's getting back on skin, I'm sure it's getting on faces. So again, another product that is somewhat still not controlled as far as mitigating your hazards. So overall, when you look at the pig cooker situation, the vat that you're cooking in has to be engineered. There are products on the market that you could tap into, extremely expensive. Extremely. For what I'm going to show you as the next solution, you could buy 4, just to give you an idea. So in terms of the cell, in terms of liability, in terms of you're not really reducing anything for Pembina in that stage, so it is definitely an area of concern that you might want to look at what I'm going to show you next, which is and somebody already deemed this in our meeting when we were there the last time, the pig spa. So when we were all sitting down and we were kind of joking around the big cooker, the next one is really the pig spa. Well, what's with the pig spa? The pig spa really is just as it sounds. It's a nice little spa. It's actually, according to get things situated here for you. It's actually a parts washer, guys. So what we've done is, instead of having things going to open air, we've now put them inside of a building. So now we're getting you away from the process of standing outside or being out to open weather. The pig cooker, comparison to the parts washer. The concept of the parts washer is everything is vented out through the venting system. Everything is inside of the parts washer, so there is no ability to expose the worker during the process of cleaning. One side of the building is where your solids come into, which is right behind me, and then of course right in front of me right here on this bench, you'd be able to turn around and inspect all of the clean product coming out, so it goes onto the shelving, which I'll turn around here in a second to show you. So the idea and the concept here is that when you have people coming through the doorway with product, number one, we've kept it so that they're on carts, and they're also at the height of the tailgate. So talking about one area versus the other, one of the things that we felt was necessary is to keep as much of the level of the working surfaces so that they were in relation to each other. And so therefore, when somebody is unloading a truck, it is at their waist level, or it's at a level where the body can utilize its mass to be able to turn around and pick that product up and put it onto a cart. And then of course when you're pushing, the idea is that you're using most of the muscles in your body. And so in one side, you're going to go in with soil product, you're going to put it on the table, so that the operator would have the opportunity to inspect the product on the table, make sure that it's maybe there's some damaged ones in there that need to be just thrown out right away instead of being cleaned, or you might end up in a situation where they can be repaired, and maybe that's part of what you guys do. That was not brought up as a solution, but at least with this process, we're going in on one side, we're with soil product, door opens on the parts washer, and then from there they'll go through a cycle under high pressure nozzles, and the product that is actually in the pig spa, for the lack of a better word, a pig spa, is called New Solvent, put out by a company called Parasolve here in Calgary. I've worked with this company numerous different times, different projects, and I can tell you with the products that are coming off of your pigs, in terms of the bitumen or the wax mixture that's on there, New Solvent or the Parasolve, there's two versions of it, so depending on which one would be good for your process. But New Solvent, and I'm just going to talk about that, all natural product, environmentally friendly, and at the end of the day, it will not end up costing you money that you are, like with your wax, hauling it away and you don't get any benefit from. Talk about a little about that right now. So parts washer, you fill it up basically with a 45-gallon drum for a small unit of New Solvent. You're going to run that until it's getting to a point where the cycle times start to increase on your parts washer, because the parts might be not coming out as clean. But in terms of, and what's that duration? Nobody knows until we get into doing some testing. But I know the strength of New Solvent is it works extremely well. You can put, and we'll send some video up to you guys. You can put in New Solvent or in the Parasolv product a piece of your wax mixture, and seriously, within 5 to 10 seconds you start seeing it melting away. It never comes back to be a solid. It always stays as an emulsified product. So one of the advantages is, as the parts washer starts to have a weakening effect with the attacking the soil product, and it goes into the tank, what happens then is that part of the cleaning process is you're going to evacuate any of the fluid that is in the tank. Then there's a sludge mixture left behind. It's not really a sludge heavy, but it is a liquid, and you're going to put that into another 45-gallon drum. And here's the beauty: it can now go back out to your pipeline, be dispersed in your pipeline, and actually it will clean your lines as it goes. So it's not even it's a product that you can put back in amongst your product, so that you're not losing any money to a wax mixture that's being hauled away for somebody else to benefit from. Or if you wanted to, you could burn it in a furnace that maybe to heat that building, for instance. That is definitely an option that you can do it with as well. So at the end of the day, if you wanted to do that, by all means. So minimal maintenance for the parts washer versus the crane and your pig cooker. Once the product comes out and it gets back onto a cart, it will get put onto this table, and you'll inspect them, dry them out, make sure they're all good. Not sure if you guys have to do the Varsol process. We're kind of hoping that you don't, and that you can just eliminate it, actually. You can do a couple of different things. You can put stuff back into pails for people to pick up, or you can shelve them and have them ready for people to be able to pick them up and take them, put them in their pails, and then put them in their truck, and away they go. So we wanted to make sure you had two options here. One is that we felt that the pig cooker, it was a little bit more in your liability issues, probably a lot more going on that you probably could eliminate. And then with the pig spa or the parts washer, the ability to be able to turn around and eliminate a lot of the environment stuff around that worker, getting them out of the weather, getting them into a building, being able to have something that's vented off instead of blowing around in the winds. Workers coming and going in and out of that working cell with the cooker, it'll be eliminated. They can come in and out of the building, and there's really at that point not much going on. Everything's still put on timers, so you're not losing any of the control factors. I know that was part of some of the concerns with everybody. And lastly, one of the things that we did on your behalf is when we were speaking with Hotsy about what we were doing and trying to inquire, would our solvent mixtures affect the parts washer in any way? No, it will not. As a matter of fact, they've offered up a parts washer for 2 to 3 weeks for you to try free of charge. All you have to do is buy the product to put in it and run some testing to see how it works. I think that it would be well worth your while to take a look at whether the parts washer would work as a solution for you, because really at the end of the day, when you kind of start weighing out one process against the other, when it talks about hazards and liabilities and you know what you have going on in terms of a solution that probably eliminates a great deal of that liability issue that you might want to be concerned with. So have a look at this. We'll also have the 3D model so that if you guys wanted to, you could, we're going to include a viewer on a USB port or a USB stick, and if you guys wanted to open it up and walk through the model yourself, it's a very simple tool to use. And if you have any questions, please give us a call, and we would be happy to gather up what you need. Thanks, and appreciate your time.